And good. We are set to go. So welcome everybody to Ultimate Launch, and this is week 4. So don't worry if you missed the first 3. We will be repeating them. Also, they are on the One blog for you to catch up on if you wanted to do it that way. But week 4 is all about developing your niche in real estate. So remember, we're talking about the foundations of building your real estate business, whether you are just coming into the business because you're in your pre-licensing courses, and I see we have quite a few students on here, or whether you're new to the industry, or whether you've been in it for a while and you're just looking for a jump start. Trust me, this is the place to start. I have lots of agents that come in here at the very beginning, and some who are kind of moving in a different direction with their business to kind of help revitalize those foundations that we all go through as real estate agents. So just remember, even after you've completed Ultimate Launch, you're always welcome to come back, because each time we do the training, it changes a little bit, and it all changes because of you guys. So if you've been on week 4 before, we've got some new pages in here to talk about, just because the conversations led us down that path on the last one. I thought it was important to share those with you guys. So, all right. So what is a real estate niche? All right. When we're talking about a real estate niche, this is about something that you specialize in, something that has a specific segment in the real estate market that is that you are targeting to a specific group of people for whatever reason. Now, keep in mind, we want to keep with fair housing, so you never want to select a niche that could violate fair housing. I always try to mention that. That's not what this is about. But we're talking about people who have different interests or focuses, to really be able to know exactly what they're looking for. And you'll figure out what I'm talking about in the next pages. So why is a niche in real estate important? So a niche is important in real estate for a few reasons, and all of them will contribute to your success as an agent. So number 1 is your expertise and knowledge within a market space. Targeted marketing, it's going to help you target the right people at the right time in the right place. You will have reduced competition for certain clients, whether those are sellers, buyers, renters, whatever those may be. You will build better client relationships, have higher conversion rates, increased efficiency, higher earning potential, and professional growth and satisfaction. Now, me personally, my niche, whenever I was selling real estate, was commercial and investment. That was my niche. And I was able to share my expertise and knowledge with my clients. I was able to really target market those individuals who were looking to either buy rental properties or do fix and flip properties. I had very few competition in the market because I was so knowledgeable about the market conditions and the potential profits and losses of each property. My client relationships last for years. I had the same clients over and over and over again. My conversion rates were through the roof. I had super high conversion rates. I was able to come up with a system that increased my efficiency 100-fold. So I had my systems down pat on how I did things and how I did them across the board, which made it very easy for me to do my business at a very high rate of speed. I had a higher earning potential because I was charging double what other agents would charge, because my knowledge and my unique value proposition came with it. And I was also able to grow and have better client satisfaction because I tended to stay within my niche. All right, so what do we do to choose our niche? So when I talk to brand new agents and I ask them, let's start thinking about your niche and where you're going to fit in the market, what you're going to specialize in, they all have one answer for me. And I'm going to pick on the newer agents here, because if you've been on this call before, and I can't see everybody, but I can see April's beautiful icon there, and I know she's been on these calls before, so I'm not going to pick on her. You new ones who are in pre-licensing or newer licensed, what do you think your niche wants to be? What you want your niche to be? Anybody going to unmute themselves? No? How about Bree? Bree, what do you want to specialize in real estate?
Well, at first I know I just want to start selling houses and then eventually get into like the flip process of it.
Okay.
So I don't know where that would put me, but
All right. Well, that would be more of an investment background. Tobias, what do you want your niche to be?
I don't really know. I think I want to get some experience first, but
Okay.
I definitely am interested in the commercial market of real estate.
Great.
So
Some unusual answers on this call. So usually when I talk to first-time agents, they say, I want to work with first-time home buyers. I want to work with first-time home buyers. That's not a niche. That's a group of people. So it's not a niche. So we need to dig deeper than that. So I love that you guys say maybe commercial, maybe do some flips, just not sure. Hopefully this training as we go through these pages will help you start to kind of think where you want to fit in. So how do we even get down to our niche? Like, how do we know what is good for us and what is not good for us? First is you really have to assess what your interests and strengths are. Like, what do you have a passion for? So when I met with each and every one of you, before starting here at Realty One, I asked you some questions, and my famous line is, tell me about you, basically. So if I was meeting with David, I would say, well, tell me about David. And most people start to go into, well, I went here to school, and it's like, that's not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear your resume. I want to hear who you are. And the reason why I ask that is because that's going to tell me where you're going to fit into the real estate market. So me at home, I live out in the middle of cow country. Most of my neighbors are Amish, which I love. They're quiet neighbors, by the way, quiet neighbors. I have a little homestead. I have dogs and I have chickens, and we live sustainably, enough for our specific family off of our land as much as possible. So to put me, or to say that I would want a niche for selling condos in Lawrenceville would be so off base, right? Would be so off base because that's not an interest or a strength of mine. I don't live in Lawrenceville. I've never lived in a condo. I, live in the country. So my interest, my strength is I know my area, and I know what it's like to have to live off the land. I know what it's like, to live in a food desert, where it takes you 35, 40 minutes to get to the grocery store, and how to get around those things. So really think about who you are, how you were raised, what your interests were, what your interests are now, what your hobbies are, because this is really going to play into what your niche will likely be. Next, you want to research market data. So you want to know the local market analysis and demographical trends within your niche. So for me, if I wanted my niche to be more of an agricultural type of niche, I would have to go in and see, well, what's the area around my house look like? How many homes are currently up for sale? How many homes have sold in the last 12 months? What are those homes selling for? Who are buying those homes? Where do they live? Where do they work? Where do they attend school? What is their education level? What is their income level? Those are all of the things that I would have to look at to really understand my market. Next, you're going to want to consider profitability as the pillar of your niche. There's lots of niches out there that you can choose from, and we're going to go over a gang of them on this call. But you want to consider the profitability of that niche. So is it something that can make you money? Because if you're not making money at it, then you're not going to do it. Although I would love to say that we all do this as charity for our community, and we may do that in our hearts, we all are business people and we need to make money at what we're doing. So we need to consider things like commission potential. Is there the potential for higher commission? And what is that transaction volume going to look like? Is it repeatable? Is it scalable? Okay. Next, you want to evaluate your competition. How saturated is the market with your niche? This is why I hate it when people say, I want to be a first-time homebuyer's agent. Listen, we're all first-time homebuyer agent. It is literally the laziest niche that you can do. Sorry for all of you out there that do first-time homebuyers. I get it, but we all do them. It's the easiest thing to learn. It's oversaturated. It can be profitable, but it's not really unique. It's not a niche because we're all taught it, right? So evaluate the competition and make sure that you have a unique selling proposition for your clients that is different than your competitors, okay? We can't all be doing the same thing. We're not all the same people. We all have different personalities. We all have different experiences. We all live in different places. We all know different people. So we need to have a unique selling proposition that is uniquely our own to be a benefit to the clients. Next, you want to think about leveraging your network. Remember how we talked about in lesson 1 about your sphere of influence, and it seemed like this daunting task to fill out those 8 pages with everybody you know? Well, I'm going to need you to pull that out, because now you're going to go through your network of people that you already know, and start thinking about who they are in comparison to who you are and what you guys have in common, because that is going to determine who you are advertising to when you finally do select your niche. All right, so here are some real estate roles in what you can do. And you can see first it says get real estate license, because you can't do any of this until you have your real estate license. And I do understand that we've got some pre-licensee students on this call, and we have some already licensed agents on this call. So before you can do any of this stuff, you must get your real estate license. But after that, you can further your education into some type of certification that maybe will transfer down to what your niche is. And these are a list of the most common. These are not going to be your niche per se, but this is the ground level of getting you to understand and be educated on what it is to go into that sector of business. And you're going to see why I'm saying sector of business, okay? Think of this as going into Walmart. And you know, if you go into Walmart, it's a massive store, and you either walk in on the home goods side or you walk in on the grocery side, right? So you've got the grocery aisle, and then you have the clothing section in the middle, and then you've got the home section, and then you've got the cosmetics section in the back. Then you've got like tires and campers and electronics, the whole, and then the cleaning department, the baby department. You've got all of these departments, right? But let's say I decided that I need a bottle of Fabuloso. I need a bottle of Fabuloso. The very first thing I have to do when I walk into Walmart is find the cleaning department to be able to find the Fabuloso so that I can buy it and go home and scrub my floors. So first thing you have to do is start with the department, and then you can start working your niche off of that, if that makes any sense. So we have a list of different things that you can get certified in, a lot of different education programs on here to start at the very top to determine what sector of real estate you really want to specialize in. So we've got selling agent specialists, buying agent specialists, landlords, tenants, commercial, VA home buyers, farms and ag, new construction and land development, foreclosure, short sales, investment properties, luxury properties, commercial leasing, relocation, and estates, along with a few others that I did not mention or would not fit on this sheet. So use this sheet to kind of determine what you want to look into. If this is something you want to look into, put a little check on the left. And then once you have finished your training, go ahead and notate it on the right. And don't worry, before we're done with this call, I'm going to give you some sources where you can start looking this stuff up. All right, this is the new section because I love this. This was brought up in one of our previous trainings, not by me, just by the conversation in the group. And I absolutely love it. We added it this session. So think outside of the box. Lead with vision, not by imitation. Your niche has to be as unique as you are. And yes, there's lots of different niches out there that a lot of people do, like relocation specialists. Like I work with relocating families from one state to another state. But trust me, even though they have the same niche title, they are completely different on the services that they offer. So what I did is I looked up some thinking outside of the box niches that agents across the country are doing to maybe help spur some inspiration on what you can do. So first is lifestyle and personal interest niches. So tiny homes and minimalist living. I know a couple people that live the minimalist lifestyle, and I do have a friend that lives in a tiny home. So this is definitely a niche that you could get into. Off-grid and sustainable properties, solar-powered homes, rainwater harvesting, composting systems, and homesteads. And this opens up a big channel of people. It is very trendy right now to live on a homestead. I have one myself. A lot of people are going back to the basics, going back to the roots, and actually creating food for themselves and having mini farms on just a few acres. So this is something that is very trending right now, and definitely something to look into. Pet-centric properties. So marketing homes with dog runs, catios, pet washing stations, large fenced yards. So think about becoming the pet-centric real estate agent in your market. Live work artist loft. So this would be great for some of our Pittsburgh agents focused on needing workspace with their living space. So loft apartments, and just keeping those things in mind that we've got those artsy clients. Location-based oddities, floating homes and houseboats. Now, they do exist around here. Okay, we have lots of waterways around here. How much does that equate to profit? I don't know. You'd have to do the research. Historic restorations, homes over 100 years old. So I know Amy, who was on the call, I'm not sure she still is because I can't see, but Amy currently has a historic property on the market, and it was just picked up by a group on Facebook. What's that called, Kat? For the love of old homes or something. Yeah, but it's really cool. Yeah, it's really, really cool, and it definitely can be a niche. I love hearing agents that have historic properties being their niche. And a lot of those agents like actually research the history. And I get slightly morbid here just because I don't know how the algorithm takes me there. I don't really follow her, but for whatever reason, it always comes up on like my TikTok. There is this one girl that she cleans headstones on TikTok. And like the ones that are like all like molded and corroded. But she cleans those, and I get so sucked into these videos about hearing the history of the person that died and their family and what they died from and what they did during their life and the children that they had and all of those things. I get drawn into the rabbit hole with historic restorations or historic properties and their history and stuff too. So definitely think of that. Mountain cabins, remote retreats. Here it would be more of like a remote retreat for buyers seeking seclusion, vacation rentals, even that teeters on Airbnbs, railroad and depot conversions. So kind of unique properties like decommissioned train stations and railways, community-oriented niches. So co-housing and communal living. So shared intentional communities with private spaces, but shared amenities. Farms with guest accommodations, vineyard operations. This could be also, what do we see a lot around here with the barns that have that are rented out for events and stuff like that? I think both Mary Brian Sesko and Anna Myers has one on the market currently. Senior downsizing and lifestyle transitioning. So going beyond the 55 community to help with estate sales, moving coordination, and emotional support of the families. Investor and development niches. So short-term rentals, Airbnbs, Verbos, distressed rural properties for rehab. So looking more into underdeveloped farmhouses and barns that can be converted for a profit. Small scale multi-use buildings. So storefront plus an apartment combo. Special needs and accessibility niches. So here's one, ADA compliant accessible homes. I don't know anybody that does that really works with ADA homes. Sensory friendly homes. That's something that's new in this area. So sensory friendly homes. You usually see those, with families that have autism that runs in their family, even those that have some of the lesser known disorders, kind of, like my family with ADD, ADHD, Asperger's. Sensory friendly homes, especially for children, is so important. So quiet layout, soundproofing, low chemical finishes. Sometimes it can be something like sensory rooms as well. All right, last but not least, special financing and loan program niches, which we just had a call with Sarah and Rob on. So we're going to take this a step further, because I know that a couple of you have decided to make this your niche, which I absolutely love. VA home loan specialist with military relocation. So of course, a lot of agents do VA home loans. They assist the families with VA home loans, are very knowledgeable. But did you ever think to not only be a VA home loan specialist, but also offer military relocation services that serves active duty, retired, and veteran military families, not only help with their VA home loan process, but also their moving services and their ability to learn a new community. DPA, down payment assistant, targeted area specialist. So that would be an agent keeping up to date on those DPA programs or even grant programs in certain area. I know right now Mercer County has a lot of grants and a lot of DPA programs that are not available in other counties in the same way or measure that Mercer County is. So if you're in Mercer County, want to talk about DPAs and grants, let's have a separate conversation about that because those are available in your area right now, kind of like a step above what everybody else is getting. USDA home loan specialist. I used to love doing USDA home loans, 0 down, no money down to those who qualify, just have to be in a USDA territory area. And when we think about USDA, I know we're all thinking about, well, farmland, but that's not necessarily correct because it goes off of population density. So you would be surprised how many little cities and nooks around each one of the counties actually qualify for USDA. One of those, locally is going to be Elwood City. Even downtown Elwood City on Lawrence Avenue qualifies for USDA home loan financing because the population is so low. So definitely something to think about. But then we think of like an area here in Beaver County, because I'm in the New Brighton office today, and you would think like Black Hawk area would be a USDA territory. Guess what? It's not. And there are some farms out in Black Hawk, and you would think that it would be USDA, but it's not. So knowing those specific areas and keeping up to date on how they change and the condition of the houses and what the qualifications would be would make a great niche for anybody who has passion for that. The one that we had the meeting on was renovation loan 203K specialist. I rocked that stuff back in the beginning of my career when the mortgage crashed. When we had the mortgage crash and like all the homes were like abandoned and dilapidated, and that's literally all we had to sell because everything was getting foreclosed on. I rocked it. I love 203K loans. I really think that it opens another avenue for additional revenue for any agent that can master those. First responder home loan specialist, so partnering with lenders that offer police, firefighters, EMTs, and healthcare workers. Here's something great too, because I know we have a few teachers that also work as agents with us, is the teacher and educated grant loans. So there are programs and loan programs and grants out there for people who are considered teachers or educators. So that could be your niche as well. But just remember that any niche that you select, regardless of how like mainstream or how unique it is, like the ones we just talked about, it needs to be something that relates to you. So me personally, I've never been a teacher. I've never been an educator. I know real estate. That's what I know. That's what I've always done. You know, I live out in the middle of nowhere. I would not become a teacher and educated grant specialist, nor would I become a first responder home loan specialist either. That's just not something, because it's not relatable to me. If I was thinking of anything on the list in front of us, USDA home loan specialist would be the most relatable to me just because of where I live. So keep that in mind. All right, so here's the list of training programs and where you can go to get those. So I'm not going to read all of these off to you. And trust me, there are more that are not on these couple pages that I'm going to give you. But if you want to look into additional information to kind of get into that, department, so to speak, like you're in Walmart, so that department of real estate that you really want to look into further, this is really where you can start. Some of these are really, really great programs. And then some, it just depends on you. I can tell you that I personally have done on this list, I've done the eco-friendly and sustainable properties. So I do have a green designation. That was okay. I also have number 8, the short sales and foreclosure resource. That was very informative, very, very informative. So I did that one as well. I've also done 10 senior real estate because I did work with a lot of estates over my career. So I did do the SRES as well, which I think really helped me understand seniors' needs and also their families' needs when the time came either to move them or when it came time to close their estates. So some of these are really good. I've not tried them all. This is just a generalized list. So kind of find what fits you. And do keep in mind, like I just went through and told you some of the things that I did along the way. Your niche, what your niche is today may not be what your niche is 10 years from now, just because we learn, we grow, we adapt. The market changes and sometimes we need to change with it. But this will give you at least a good starting point for today. All right, there are a couple handouts in here, your business foundation. So just take the time. This is your non-homework homework. As always, I'm not checking it. I'm not grading it. If you do want to turn it into me, I'll give you a gold star, I promise. But this is just to kind of help you think outside the box. So who are you as a business owner? What is your business? Why did you become a real estate professional? And what is your business visions, missions, and goals? So writing these down will really help you figure out what part of real estate that you will go in that really aligns with who you are. There's some other questions here. Again, I'm not checking it. Feel free to share it with me or anybody else in the group if you want to. There's no grade on it, but definitely suggest you do it if you want to start in your business. I've also included a quick start checklist. Once you've decided on your niche, then you can go through this checklist of things that you should be doing to help really jumpstart your niche. Research and validate the niche. So definitely start with your research. And step number 2 is what we just talked about. Get trained, get educated, get certified. Your certification will go a long way. Craft your positioning statement, build your branding, create signature content and resources. Start building out your team of niche partners. Now, that doesn't mean other agents, doesn't mean building a team. It means figuring out, like, if you're going to be a USDA expert, well, who's going to provide those USDA loans? Who's going to be the home inspector? Who's going to do the repairs that need to be done? So start with that vendor list and partners. And trust me, if you're partnering with the right people, they are going to want to help, pump out to their sphere of influence that you have this niche and that you're certified and you're trained and that you're really doing amazing things. So join any niche focus groups and organizations. You can do those in person. You can do those online. They could be social media community groups, but I would say get involved in them all. Create a marketing campaign. Start an outreach and prospecting to the demographic within your niche. Remember, we pulled market demographics, so you should know who those are now. Even if they are the people on your sphere of influence, start reaching out to them, prospecting to them. Super important, track your results and refine. So you hear me talk about it all the time. Being a business owner, make sure you're tracking everything, know your KPIs. It's no different here. You have to know if your business is profitable and if what you are doing is actually working or not. And you're not going to know that unless you're tracking it. So follow up with your CRM, collaborate with influencers and partners. Then and only then can you start to expand your geographical reach, repurpose your best content, refine and expand your exposure, and then start leveraging client testimonials and continue to deepen your relationships with your community. Okay, so feel free to go through that checklist to help you organize your brain on all the steps you have to do to really launch your niche. All right, that's all I've got for you on niches. Does anybody have any comments, questions, anything they'd like to add? Don't be quiet now. I got to get a drink of water because I talk so much. You guys don't interrupt me. Start interrupting me. Nobody wants to hear me talk that much, people. No? Silence today. Either I did an amazing job at explaining everything, or it was so dang boring that they all fell asleep. I'm not sure. All right. Well, please start thinking about your niches. If anybody wants to talk and kind of collaborate one-on-one, please book a one-on-one with me. We can absolutely do that. Let's put our ideas on paper, put our heads together. Sometimes it just really helps when you talk it out and bounce ideas off of people. Feel free to do the buddy system. you all can see who's on this call. So call these other people, start bouncing ideas, collaborate. That's what we do here at Realty One, right? We collaborate as a team. So take full advantage of that. Next week, we're going to be talking about social media content creation. So remember how I said, okay, week 1, do your sphere of influence. Week 2, we got to do our branding. We have to have our headshot and our logo and our fonts and our colors and all the things, all of the things that we've been doing over the last 4 weeks. We talked about our niche. This is where we put it all together, people. So if you have not done the first 4 weeks, please catch up and do those. If you have not done your not homework, please make sure you're doing that, because this is where we're going to put it all into play. And we're really going to figure out, when we take all of these bits and pieces and we put it together out on social media, out on Google, out on YouTube, wherever you're putting your face, and I hope it's all of the above, what that's going to look like. But you have to have all of those bits and pieces before you can make a seamless connection through all of your platforms. So make sure you work on that this week. Start thinking about your niche. Lean on the rest of your team, because listen, we're all in it together. We're just, trying to make the dream work, and the teamwork makes the dream work. So call anybody else who is on this call. I promise they'll be happy to help. And like always, I will stay on the line in case anybody wants to meet with me privately after everybody else has left. So if I don't see you, have an amazing rest of your day. See you for week 5 next week.